that we are doing everything that we can to address the unhoused crisis in this city. They're looking for nothing, because I've been absolutely clear about this mission. What is it that you believe that I'm leaving out?
Smoking weed and drink in the park in broad daylight. I'm requesting Alderman Vasquez, Mayor Johnson, our neighborhood, and see what's happening there. Might be good, but the others are here to cause trouble.
Chicago's migrant shelter dilemma. Chicago finds itself embroiled in controversy as the mayor's office explores the possibility of relocating hundreds of new arrivals to the city's south side ahead of the Democratic National Convention. The proposal has sparked strong opposition from neighbors and the alderwoman of the ward, highlighting the complex challenges surrounding migrant shelters and community integration. The decision-making process surrounding the potential relocation has faced scrutiny, with residents expressing confusion and frustration over the lack of consultation and transparency from city officials. Michelle Gusich, a concerned resident, voiced her confusion, emphasizing the need for accountability and communication from Mayor Brandon Johnson's administration. The revelation that the mayor's office never consulted the building owner of the proposed shelter site in Canaryville further exacerbated tensions. This oversight underscores the importance of engaging with stakeholders and respecting community input in decisions that directly impact local neighborhoods. Mayor Johnson's plan to consolidate the city's migrant shelters ahead of the DNC has raised questions about the city's capacity to accommodate new arrivals and the rationale behind the proposed relocations. The lack of clarity surrounding the number of incoming buses and the specific needs of the migrant population adds to the uncertainty surrounding the city's approach to addressing homelessness and housing insecurity. The announcement by the 11th Ward Alderwoman Nicole Lee regarding the potential replacement of the Standard Club shelter downtown further fueled public outcry. Residents expressed dissatisfaction with the city's reasoning, viewing the proposed relocation as a hasty attempt to stuff migrants into other neighborhoods without proper consideration for community impact. However, the city's plan hit a roadblock, with officials citing the need for assessments and physical improvements at the proposed shelter site before moving forward. While acknowledging the concerns raised by residents, the city emphasized the importance of thorough planning and dialogue in determining the suitability of potential shelter locations. The lack of communication and consultation with affected communities has left residents feeling disenfranchised and overlooked in the decision-making process. Michelle Gusich's frustration reflects a broader sentiment of neglect and disregard for the concerns of residents impacted by the city's policies. As the debate over migrant shelters in Chicago continues, the city faces a critical juncture in balancing the needs of vulnerable populations with the concerns of local communities. The recent developments underscore the importance of fostering open dialogue, promoting community engagement, and prioritizing transparency in addressing complex social issues such as homelessness and migration. Moving forward, it is imperative for city officials to heed the voices of residents, collaborate with community leaders, and adopt a more inclusive and participatory approach to decision-making. Only through meaningful dialogue and cooperation can Chicago strive towards equitable and sustainable solutions that benefit all its residents. A new funding proposal. In an unexpected turn of events, Mayor Brandon Johnson of Chicago is reportedly seeking an additional $70 million in funding from the City Council to address the ongoing migrant crisis. This apparent reversal comes after earlier discussions with Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker and Cook County Board President Tony Preckwinkle regarding a similar funding request, which were ultimately shelved. The renewed push for funding signals a recognition of the severity of the crisis and the need for immediate action. According to sources familiar with the discussions, Mayor Johnson has begun meeting with alderpersons behind closed doors to brief them on the proposal.
You guys threw us to the wolves, and now we have to deal with the trouble you brought to our neighborhood. Guys are standing on the side of the building, doing God knows what. Of your irresponsible move, this is not impossible. Smoking weed and drink in the park in broad daylight. I'm requesting Alderman Vasquez, Mayor Johnson, our neighborhood, and see what's happening there. Might be good, but the others are here to cause trouble.
If approved, the $70 million allocation would supplement the $150 million already set aside in the 2024 city budget for migrant services. Alderman Carlos Ramirez Rosa, who has been involved in discussions with the mayor's office, believes that the additional funding could accommodate an extra 15,000 people in need of shelter. The migrant crisis in Chicago has been ongoing since August 2022, with thousands of migrants being transported to the city. While the pace of arrivals has slowed in recent months, officials anticipate an increase in busing as the DNC approaches. Alderman Ramirez Rosa highlights the city's responsibility as the host city for the DNC and expresses concerns about potential targeting by Republican governors, such as Greg Abbott of Texas, who have been sending buses of migrants to Chicago. Governor Pritzker and President Preckwinkle previously announced plans to seek an additional $250 million from the state and county to respond to the migrant crisis. However, a $70 million shortfall remained, prompting Mayor Johnson to propose that the city fill this gap, matching the county's contribution. The coordinated efforts between the city, county, and state underscore the collaborative approach taken to address the humanitarian needs of migrants in Chicago. Despite the challenges posed by the migrant crisis, Governor Pritzker commended the mayor's office for its efforts in addressing the situation. He emphasized the importance of collaboration between different levels of government and reaffirmed their commitment to providing necessary resources to support migrants in Chicago. The governor's remarks reflect a unified front in tackling the complex challenges posed by the migrant crisis and underscore the need for continued support and investment from all stakeholders. The renewed funding proposal highlights the evolving nature of the migrant crisis and the importance of proactive measures to address humanitarian needs. As Chicago prepares to host the DNC, the city must be adequately equipped to manage potential increases in migrant arrivals and ensure the safety and well-being of both migrants and residents. The proposed funding allocation represents a critical step towards fulfilling this responsibility and demonstrates a commitment to upholding the city's values of inclusivity and compassion. Alderman Ramirez Rosa emphasized that while the decision to approve additional city funding ultimately rests with the council, Mayor Johnson is actively engaging with council members to address concerns and provide necessary information. Hosting the DNC entails certain responsibilities, including ensuring adequate resources for migrant shelter, especially considering arrivals from Republican states. While specific financial details have not been disclosed, pending the conclusion of the briefings, Ramirez Rosa indicated that the additional funding is expected to come from the city's general fund. The timeline for the proposal's consideration by the council remains uncertain, but Ramirez Rosa expressed hope for a vote in the coming weeks. Migrant Care Package. The recent developments surrounding Mayor Brandon Johnson's backtracking on funding commitments for migrant care in Chicago have sparked renewed questions and concerns about the city's plans moving forward. Volunteers on the ground express frustration and call for the mayor to step up, highlighting the critical need for resources to support new arrivals. Chicago bears the responsibility for providing shelter to migrants, with the county covering health care and state offering wraparound services and relocation assistance. However, Mayor Johnson's refusal to commit to new funding for migrants, despite pledges from the state and Cook County totaling $250 million, has raised eyebrows and drawn criticism from various quarters. Volunteer Annie Gomberg emphasizes the importance of aligning actions with sentiments, urging Mayor Johnson to match his purported moral high ground with tangible financial support.
This is going to continue to cause the type of chaos that the governor of Texas wants to do. 27 shelters is what I've built. No, it's not sustainable. The Congress does have to act. And we did all of that without having to cut back on services to people, as I've already expressed, that we are doing everything that we can to address the unhoused crisis in this city. They're looking for nothing, because I've been absolutely clear about this mission. What is it that you believe that I'm leaving out?
The uncertainty surrounding the city's financial commitment leaves the future of migrant care in limbo, despite the warmer temperatures providing temporary relief to those waiting outside shelters in Pilsen. Cook County Board President Tony Preckwinkle refrains from criticizing Mayor Johnson directly, but underscores her ongoing efforts to address the challenges posed by new arrivals since August 2022. However, political observers view Johnson's decision to backtrack on funding as a puzzling move, especially considering his self-professed identity as a collaborator. ABC7 political analyst Laura Washington suggests that Johnson's decision might be influenced by pressure from the black community, particularly members of the city council, regarding resource allocation to black communities. The notion that prioritizing migrants' needs could provoke backlash underscores the complex dynamics at play in decision-making processes. Despite assertions of Johnson's commitment to the mission, questions linger about the city's financial stance and its implications for migrant care. Gomberg stresses the importance of financial backing as a tangible indicator of commitment, highlighting the critical role of funding in translating intentions into meaningful action. While Johnson expresses hope for additional federal funding, political observers cast doubt on the likelihood of such support materializing amid political gridlock in Washington. The uncertainty surrounding future funding sources adds another layer of complexity to the situation, raising concerns about the sustainability of migrant care initiatives in Chicago. In the face of these uncertainties, stakeholders emphasize the urgency of addressing the immediate needs of migrants and ensuring adequate support systems are in place. The ongoing dialogue between city officials, community members, and volunteers underscores the collaborative effort required to navigate challenges and find sustainable solutions. Moving forward, Mayor Johnson and city officials face the daunting task of reconciling budgetary constraints with humanitarian imperatives, balancing competing priorities to meet the needs of diverse communities.
And that's being caused by the governor of Texas. Now, what I'm also taking away from all of this is that there is a great deal of fear and trepidation, an opportunity for real negotiations. The story of Chicago is intact, and the Chicago Bears are a part of that story.
The resolution of funding issues will likely shape the city's approach to migrant care and its broader commitment to social justice and inclusivity. As Chicago grapples with the evolving dynamics of migrant care, the spotlight remains on Mayor Johnson and his administration's ability to navigate these challenges with transparency, accountability, and compassion. The decisions made in the coming weeks will not only impact the immediate welfare of migrants, but also reflect the city's values and priorities in the face of adversity. That's all for this video, folks. See you next time.